Only been a few hours, but it felt like days. Only been days, but it felt like months. Been gone for a year, only know like once. Life moves fast when you do what you want.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Dream Bigger, Live Larger podcast. I am your host, Adeline Lys, and this is the final episode of season 1. Yay! So I am so excited to be closing out season 1. Season 2 will be coming out December 9th. And child, I got some tea for y'all in season 2. I've been writing down some notes and taking down some notes, but also making sure, like, you know, we get into topics of self-development and making sure that, you know, we become the best person we need to be in the future. And not even in the future, like right now, starting right now. So yes, so I am so excited to just, you know, announce season 2 will be coming December 9th. Okay, so today, in today's last episode, we will be talking about learning from our mistakes. And basically, it's just taking accountability for what we've done in the past or what we're doing now and trying to do better. And basically becoming the adult in our life to really take accountability and say, hey, I really messed up on this situation and it's time for me to, you know, regroup and let's see how I can become a better person. So if you guys are interested in this episode, keep on listening and keep on watching. Okay, so I wrote down in my transparency mode, right? I wrote down, as we get older, we have to learn how to take accountability of our actions and also realize when we make mistakes. Every day we learn a little about ourselves, and mistakes are a part of our journey. That's how we really learn. So when it comes down to that, it's just basically, as we get older, right, we have to know that sometimes, well, not even sometimes, majority of the time, we need to understand that we can never be right in situations. We also have to take accountability of what's going on and the mistakes that we've done. I hate how I am sometimes when it comes down to making mistakes and not taking ownership of it. Like, I just brush it under the rug, like it's okay. And I'm only 27, and of course mistakes is a part of life. But one thing about mistakes is just basically, if you don't want to go through that trial and error again, let's learn from our mistakes so we don't have to repeat the cycle, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Mistakes are what makes us human. We are not perfect. Nobody that is walking this planet is perfect, okay? No one is perfect. And that's something that we have to understand. It doesn't matter how many followers you have on social media. It doesn't matter how many people love you and how many people you have in your circle. It's basically knowing who you are as a person and just making sure, like, hey, in order for me to do better, I have to understand what I'm doing wrong so I could do right. I realize, and mistakes is all in different areas of our lives. And I realized that I make a lot of mistakes when it comes down to dating. I wrote down, I realized my dating life can have a lot of similar patterns that causes mistakes I make. Well, not mistakes, I could say decisions. And God keeps sending me the same lessons over and over because your girl does not get it. Your girl's not listening. She's not observing. Okay, she's not observing. Lessons keep coming over and over again because Adeline doesn't understand the red flags sometimes. And as much as I preach, look out for the red flags, look out for the red flags, I have to learn how to take my own advice because sometimes I see the red flags coming. but the red flags are packaged in a different light. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It's packaged in a different human. He looks fine. He has his head over his shoulder. But, girl, you have a type. And that type doesn't get you anywhere. And that's something that I have to really understand. Like, yo, I keep making mistakes and I keep making decisions that are not benefiting me. And I keep asking God why. And God is looking at me like, girl, you know why? Because you making stupid decisions. That's exactly what it is. It's nothing personal. It's just you acting stupid. Get it together. Okay? I also wrote down, until I get it right, I will keep making the same mistakes over and over, and the results will never change. In my dating life, I'm not gonna lie to you, one thing I realized is that, and this is, mistakes are all, like I said, it's different areas in your life, but me personally, in my dating life, I keep making the same mistakes over and over because I'm starting to figure out who I am as a human, and also who I am as a woman, that I have to learn what I like and dislike. And the things I went for in the past, I can't move forward with it because I'm a different person. Like, I'm developing, I'm growing. And whatever I liked in the past can't come in the future. And that's something that I realized that, like, yo, I have to learn how to speak up. I have to learn how to be like, okay, in order for this mistakes not to repeat itself, I have to start making changes because I want different results, right? Like, everyone wants different results. But in order for you to get different results, you have to know, hey, you can't be doing the same, routine. Something has to change. So things are always going to repeat itself if you don't change it. That's basically what it is. And the mistakes I make, not even with dating, but with career-wise, it's like I have to learn how to make changes and not repeat the same things over and over because I'm afraid, right? Or I'm just used to that pattern. And it's annoying because I can't say, hey, I want this, I want that, but I keep doing the same thing over and over. It's stupid. It's retarded. Sorry for that. I know retarded is not a good word or a good term to use, but it's dumb, okay? And even with career-wise, right? Mistakes are great to learn when you're starting something new in your career, but sometimes the mistakes could be the downfall of the decisions you make, or it's just like a life lesson or a career lesson that you're learning. Like, hey, I gotta tap myself in the hand like, girl, don't ever do that again. And I also wrote down, when it comes down to career, it's like, don't think that you're perfect. We all go through our own trials and tribulations. And that's what makes our journey special when it comes down to following our career. But sometimes mistakes could be permanent. And sometimes you have to understand, like, hey, those mistakes, you can't let that happen again. And when it comes down to careers, it's like, hey, each decision you make reflects on what it is that's going on in your career. And like I said, it makes your journey very special. But sometimes you have to understand, hell no. No. Now that we are getting older, it doesn't matter what age you are, but now that you're getting older, you have to understand that you only have one life to live, and you can't depend on, how can I say this? Like, I don't want to like mess up how my thinking process is. When you get older, you start to observe different things. You start to see different things. Ooh, sorry, I'm over here kicking the light. Once you observe and you see certain things, the journey becomes different. And it's not all about mistakes. It's all about the decisions you make to become different and like to see which route you can take to understand like, hey, is this right for me? Is this not? Whatever the case may be. But I could always say, learn from every trial and error you do. Because all I can say, it makes you who you are as a person. You can't complain about the mistakes that you're making if you know it wasn't right in the first place. And you have time to improve. You have time to maneuver and change. But the cycle will always repeat itself if you don't correct the mistakes that you're making. It will always repeat itself. So yeah, that's all I have to say in this week's episode. Like I said, this is the last episode of season 1. And this is a part where we speak about the solution. All right? So let's get into it. I wrote down, dream. Life is about mistakes. Realizing what it is first. So as long as you realize, hey, I made a mistake, let me fix it, all will be well. I also wrote down live. Take accountability of your actions. Like I said, no one is perfect. Take accountability of your actions. Okay? Learn from it. Digest it. Like, make sure it sinks in so you understand, like, hey, I don't want this to ever happen again. Let me fix up. And that's really what it is. As adults, we will make, not even as adults, as humans, we will make mistakes forever and ever and ever. But as long as we learn from it, that's all that matters. So that is it for this week's episode. And like I said, last episode of season 1. So I hope you guys like and love this episode. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to listen on Apple and Spotify. And yeah, that is it for this week's episode. Love you guys, and see you guys in season 2. Bye bye.